Hello, Marcus Lim here, and it has been a while since the last update. Just cause, well, here's the thing. The plan, right, is supposed to be passive, right? Set, forget. So I don't feel the need to constantly fiddle and make changes. In fact, as you will see, this hands-off approach actually helped in two of my bots, right? But the point is this: if in doubt, just let it run, let it do its thing. Because if the plan really is as set and forget as Dan Hollings says, then by all means just set it and forget it. So that's just my default attitude. I also feel that this approach makes the video series like this easier to follow. Because, you know, if I'm constantly making changes, stopping bots, running new ones all the time, it's actually a little bit pointless to have a video series like this. Because the point of this kind of progress video series is to show you the progression of the bot's results over an extended period of time. Now, this doesn't mean that I won't stop certain bots if it makes sense to do so, but just know that I'll normally give a bot plenty of time before I pull the plug in order to give it enough time for results to be meaningful. And so, you know, with that said, now is actually a pretty good time to check in and give an update because, for one thing, the bot profit for my active bots they are currently running, right? It's approaching $5,000 US, and also, yeah, it has been a while since the last update, and in total, it has been 3 months since I started the plan, right? Since I started this journey, and so yeah, so before I actually talk about the bots, one thing to point out is that the interface has changed a little bit. So now the biggest change is that the interface now presents to us, you know, in terms of the value column, this is all expressed in the currency of your choice, which in this case this is USD. Of course, you can switch this to any currency you want. So for instance, if I did like AUD, right, you'll show it in AUD, or you could even do it, say, in BTC if you wanted to as well. So but yeah, just leave it USD because this makes it easier to actually see you know, just how much the value, the total I guess overall value has changed, right? Makes it easier to evaluate how much it's changed relative to the initial USD investment, because this was harder to see before, right? In the past, it was harder to see whether or not we've actually made or lost money. Like, say, for instance, if before, right, this would have been expressed in the court currency. So a bot like this, right, with the BTC on the right hand side, this would have been expressed in BTC. So it was actually a little bit hard to actually cleanse and tell whether the overall value relative to our initial investment has actually gone up or down, right? So I'm glad they made this change. So now we can easily see, you know, for these 5 bots, I can say, okay, so out of 5, 4 of them overall I'm up, right, relative to my initial investment, and 1 is down relative to my initial investment. So in terms of the actual bots themselves, so 5 running, as you can see. Now this one here at the top, I started recently, so nearly 9-10 days ago. It's doing fairly okay, but other than this one, these 4, right, I haven't actually touched them at all since the last time in my previous video. And part of the reason is that you know, been busy with other things, and also what I mentioned just now, my attitude is to simply follow as much as possible Dan's advice about do nothing. Okay. And as I was saying just now, this has actually turned out to be a good thing. So for instance, let me show you maybe this one, right? This last one here. You can see, actually, if I do like 3 months, you can see how long it's actually been running, right? Long time. 3 months, well, 3 months and 10 days, right? So that's how long I've been in the plan. And yeah, you see this one, and what you see is like around, I don't know, 18th of June, right, mid-June-ish, up to about 6th of August, right, or so, right? That's about a month and a half. You was actually really like deep in the really deep out of range, right? It's actually a huge dip. Like if I were to like do some kind of measure down, right? It's about a 50% dip, right? Yeah, so quite a big dip down over there, and it was kind of out of range for quite a bit as well, right? A month and a half, right? Yeah, so this right here is the perfect example of taking Dan's motto of, you know, do nothing to an extreme in a sense, because, you know, a lot of people I know, you know, I guess around this point they probably decide, oh, I had enough, you know, tired of seeing red, so probably pull the plug. Yeah. And you know, that's all fine. You do what you have to do, but it just goes to show that doing nothing is actually harder than it sounds. So, you know, if you recall, Malcolm Forbes, right? This is what he said: the hardest work of all, doing nothing. And you know, at first this sounds like, yeah, not really. People probably don't believe that this is the case, but you know, when you're deep into it, when the bots are running and it's out of range and you know it's not wiggling, then yeah, it's actually, you know, like if you're the type who's constantly wanting to fiddle, then you would be very, very tempted to just pull the plug at this point and say, alright, I just, you know, rather start over with a new bot. And you know, again, I said nothing really wrong with that approach, but as I said, right, like I'm taking Dan's advice to heart and just letting it run, you know, just let it do its thing. And so at some point it actually got up again, right? So this was just maybe a month ago, okay? So for the past month it has been for the most part in range, okay, and wiggling and generating profit, right? Same situation with this one too, right? So at around, you know, around the same time, roughly like mid-June, right, out of range, and then at almost exactly the same time as well as the fifth one, yeah, came back in, okay, and yeah, a month ago. And yeah, for the most part, right, there's some instances where it went out again, but for the most part it's been in range and wiggling, okay? So what this hopefully shows you is that the plan is resilient to such, you know, big tips. So you know, what would this be in terms of percent drop? This is even more, you see. This is like almost a 83%. Here you go, 77, almost 80% dip down, right? So pretty big drop. And so yeah, what I'm trying to say here is, you know, don't worry too much even when you get such big dips, because corrections do happen, and if you give it enough time, you know, just let it ride it out. Just trust in the plan is what I'm saying. Because, you know, consider this, right? Like if let's say for this particular bot, do you think, you know, if I were to regrid this down, just to get it to start wiggling again, right around here, do you think you actually do any better than just waiting, right? I reckon you're maybe at best probably just end up in the same position that I am in now with the bot. Because, you know, as Dan likes to say, if you take two people one who loves fiddling versus the one who just lets it sit, checking in from time to time. In the end, they more or less end up, more or less in the same position. So yeah, you see right now, yeah, it's all doing great. So that's a bit of a rant about doing nothing. So in terms of the profit, right. So yeah, approaching 5k. I mean, this does fluctuate just because some of the profit is in BTC and BTC is volatile. But expressed in USD, this is 5k. But if I also include the history, so let me just go back. Okay. Right. So the bot side close, it says 1168 USD. Although this is not quite accurate, and the reason is because if you look at the history, right, this only shows me the what it was when I closed. But given the fact that these two bots, right, they're both the quote currency is actually both in BTC, and BTC since then, right, since I closed back in 26th of June, BTC has actually gone up, and so 1168 is actually lower than what it is now. So if what it is now, if I were to take, for instance, like this BTC profit, I have a bit of a Chrome extension here which tells me immediately, at 0.0311 BTC gives me about $1,550 US. And for this one, it's 250 as opposed to 169. So if you add those up, actually an easier way might be if I did this. So this is my total profit, right? Adding up the profit from the two bots, yeah, so it's actually closer to 1800 as opposed to 1168. Yeah, so it's about 1800. And if I add that to this, it's gone above 5000 now. So yeah, 5001, 1800, what's that, 6800. So approaching 7k in total USD profit. So what's that out of my initial investment of about 15k? That's maybe between 40 and 50% return, which is, yeah, pretty good for 3 months and a bit. Not as good as it could have been, because as I said, right, because a lot of my bots, right, experience this out of range for quite a bit, right? So it has been a rough 2 months for crypto. So, but the point is, even despite that, in order to achieve the fact that you still achieve 40 to 50% return, practically doing nothing, really got nothing to complain about. And so what my results so far will hopefully show to you, and I think this is an important point to make, having been running for more than 3 months now, is actually the resilience of the plan despite a pretty rough couple months, right? See, it is easy to present good results in good conditions, but a true test, I think, of the plan is that, how does it actually perform, when these happens, when the market really crashes or dips for quite a bit, does it survive the crash? And yeah, I'm not sugarcoating anything. As you can see, I'm just showing you how my bots have been doing, both the good and the bad. And so to have this huge dip, right, and yet still get almost 50% return overall in just 3 months at a bit, should hopefully give you more confidence if you are considering to get into the plan yourself. And if you're already in the plan and experiencing this yourself, then yeah, this may give you some reassurance to just stay the course and let it do its thing. So as for my game plan moving forward, so these two I will leave them as they are for now. In fact, I'm pretty much toying with the idea of potentially just letting them run as long as possible. Just cause, hey, I think it'll be cool to see how long I can keep them going, and hopefully at some point even see like a 100% profit, doubling the money. Then I'll have something to really brag about. But yeah, I'm in no hurry at this point to stop them, cause they're active, they're wiggling at a decent rate, right? It doesn't seem that decent for now, and that's again because they have been out of range for quite a while. So these are not good indications, okay? But yeah, so the point is, right, they're wiggling, making profit, and unlike buy and hold, where you only realize the profit when you close, this is different. So this profit I can immediately take and reinvest into a new bot once it's made enough. And in fact, that's exactly what I did to start this new bot here, right? The value when I started it was about 3,000 that I put in. Yeah, and so it's all profit reinvested, right? So that's the beauty of bots. So in no hurry to close them, because they are making profit as they go, and I get the profit immediately without having to actually close the bots. As for I guess, well, obviously the first one, just let it run. These two, so this one, right, it's currently in the green, although it is out of range. And if I click on this, you can see that it has been out of range for actually quite a while now, right? Nearly, I don't know, nearly a month plus now, okay? So yeah, obviously not ideal, because it's not wiggling, not doing anything, but we'll see. Yeah, I may decide to close it at some point, if I decide that it's got enough time, but who knows, we'll see. I haven't decided yet. And again, and another one, this one, this is the only one in the red right at the moment. I may close it too if this goes up in value, like perhaps. But yeah, I mean, this is why it's good to have a portfolio of 5 running now, right? Then says you only need to win 65% of the time. So yeah, so if 4 of my bots are currently winning, then I am at 80%, right? So I'm okay, to just let it sit for a bit longer and see if it will take, if it will get back into action and wiggle again. I mean, you can see that, how long has it been out? Yeah, quite long, about a month. Yeah, but yeah, it's okay. I'll just probably wait and see. Now once I do get enough capital to start running another bot again, I'll do that, and my plan is to keep doing that till I get up to 15 running, which means I'll have to, as you can see, I've reached the maximum number of bots for this current plan that I'm on, so I have to upgrade to the next level if I want to run more. And as I was saying before, I'm choosing to fund all my new bots with profits from existing bots. I can of course add in extra capital, but the point of this whole exercise is for me to see how far I can take this just using existing funds and reinvesting profits back into the bots, starting from what I would say to be, a quite modest initial investment of 15k. So yeah, so that's my update. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Whether you are considering joining the plan when it opens again, or whether you're already in the plan, right? Because I reckon I have, as an very early adopter. I've been running this longer than you guys would be running it, and so yeah, so hopefully seeing these results will give you some assurance that the plan works, whether in really good conditions or not so good ones. Okay, so that's my update. I do think that crypto is looking really exciting in the coming months. As you know, as we close this year 2021, and so that should mean great things for the bots and for the plan as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video update.